Hi guys, and welcome to part 2. If you haven't already, go subscribe, like, share, comment, all of that. So just a little recap. Last time was our first video, and we just started from the very beginning and we went all the way through to my gender reveal. So we will be picking up from my gender reveal on this video, and I just hope you guys enjoy the ride that we're about to go on, and I hope you enjoy part 2. We're gonna kick part 2 off with the end of my gender reveal. My gender reveal, like I said in the last video, it was perfect. It's everything I wanted it to be. Great. And after my gender reveal, I was feeling amazing. I had an amazing pregnancy until all the complications arise, really. So I was doing amazing. After the gender reveal, like soon after, I started to feel ready to kick and move and all that other good stuff, and it was amazing, to say the least. Like, she was very tiny still, so the kicks weren't, like boom, big kicks and stuff like that, but they were still like, they meant something to me. Like, I would pull my camera out and I would record, and now I go back and look at the videos and I'm like, okay, like, Ashley, what was you recording? But I knew like she was kicking and all that other good stuff. So fast forward a couple weeks, it was our 20-week appointment. When I found out the gender, I was only 16 weeks. So then fast forward, like I said, to the 20-week appointment. This is when your doctor tells you the gender of your baby, and you get an ultrasound and all that fun stuff. So beforehand, we were in COVID, but COVID was kind of slowing down. But like, this is like towards getting into flu season. So COVID was still very much here and the sicknesses were very much here. So Gerard was not, unfortunately, able to come to all my doctor's appointments, but he was able to come to my 20-week appointment, which we were very excited about, because it sucked not because he was there. Like, it wasn't like he was absent. He was there, so it sucked not being able to have him at every appointment, of course. So our 20-week appointment, we go in and we go in this room, and the room is like, different. It only has like the ultrasound stuff that they use, and it doesn't have a screen for us to really like look at what they're doing during the ultrasound. So the only screen is on the ultrasound text machine. So we was kind of like, okay. And then like, she started the ultrasound and she's not really like talking. She's not really like telling us what's going on, really. I mean, she was a little bit, but not really. It wasn't really what I thought it was gonna be. So I'm very happy that we went early to go see like her gender and look at her and stuff like that, because that appointment kind of sucked. Like, that was when I was like, okay, like, I want to switch doctors. Like, yeah, it wasn't very good. So we go home, and a couple of days later, the doctor calls me, and I'm like, okay, like, they were calling to get tell me the results, like, make sure, like, cause they check the baby and all that other stuff. So I thought they were just calling to tell me about the results. Well, they were, but the results weren't what I was expecting at all. So they called and they're like, the baby is measuring at 17 weeks in some days, and you're 20 weeks in some days. So I'm just like, okay, what does this mean? Like, I'm starting to freak out inside. And she was like, we're going to refer you to Kettering Maternal Fetal Medicine, and you'll go there, and so that they can do an ultrasound too and check and everything like that. And then if everything's good, you'll just come back here, or you'll have appointments with them regularly, or whatever they decide your course of treatment is going to be. So I get off the phone and I am bawling my eyes out, like bawling. And Gerard's like, what happened? Who was that? What's going on? You know, he's just trying to like get it out of me and stuff like that. And I'm just bawling and bawling. And of course I tell him what's going on and stuff like that. And so like, I'm worried. I'm scared. Like, okay, my baby is measuring small. Like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? And they didn't really answer any of those in the call. Like, they just kind of called me and told me, and they're like, okay, well, they'll call you with an appointment and you'll just go to this appointment. Like, it sucked. Like, it really sucked. So I wasn't happy about that either with my doctor, because I feel like they just could have explained it more, basically. So the maternal fetal medicine doctor called, and so I set up an appointment with them. So my first appointment, fortunately, they had different guidelines, so Gerard was able to come to these appointments with me. So our first appointment there, like, we did the ultrasound and everything, and they asked me like, did I know what Raina was and stuff like that. And they printed out pictures. They showed us, like, they were like moving around, showing us like the cute little images of her and stuff like that. Like, she was so cute. And this was way more pleasant. We had a screen to look at. They were way more pleasant with me, and they talked to me and everything like that. So after this appointment, we had to go talk to the doctor afterwards. So they put us in a room. And just remember that section, because that's going to be really key to like the end of this part. So they put us in a room after the ultrasound. And the doctor came in, and she was just telling us like what she saw and everything. She was just like, hey, like, her body parts don't look like weird, like one's not bigger than the other, like they're all proportionate to each other. And she was just kind of asking about our family history and everything like that. And so we told her like, yeah, like, my family is pretty small. Like, me, my sister, and my mom are pretty much all the same size, like everything like that. And then Gerard was like, yeah, I'm pretty much the only tall one in my family and stuff like that. And so she's like, yeah, well, it could be genetics. Like, we don't really see anything that could be the cause of it, of her measuring small, but it could be genetics, because you don't have a big family, and you don't have a big family. So it could be genetics. And we're like, okay. And I'm like, whew, I am so happy, because I was so nervous, like, because of course this is my first pregnancy, and I just didn't know, like, I didn't know what to think. Like, I just didn't. And so I don't have little brothers. Well, I mean, I have little step siblings, but my mom did not have anybody after me. So I didn't know what to think. I've never really experienced pregnancy like that close. So we go back, we go out, and they make appointments. At first I went 2 weeks, but then like as time started to go on, I was going every week. So fast forward, I had an appointment right before my birthday, and it went great. She looked great. She's doing great. It was great. So then December 1st came, my birthday. Gerard planned me an amazing birthday. We didn't do too much. We went to a place called, sorry if I don't say this right, but Siberius, I don't know, but it's a hotel room, and it has a pool inside your room. And so it was great. We had so much fun. We went, and then we stayed in downtown Indy a night, and we just had a great time, just the two of us. And then that weekend we went to Detroit. Good thing, guys, good thing we decided to go to Detroit. Like, very good, because what we did not know was that we would not see his family for a while after this. So good thing we decided to go. So we come back from Detroit, and of course I have another doctor's appointment, because now I'm going every week. Well, unfortunately, this is when COVID started to get worse. And they changed the guidelines. Kettering changed their guidelines. And now Gerard was not able to come with me to my doctor's appointment again. So this was the maternal fetal medicine appointment. I didn't, in between this, I did not have another doctor's appointment because I was still pretty early. So I wasn't going every week or every 2 weeks yet. I hadn't started that yet. So I was going to the maternal fetal medicine doctor every week though. So I went to my doctor's appointment. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a regular appointment. Like, not worried at all. And so then I go back to the ultrasound. Like, we're doing the regular ultrasound and everything. And then they tell me, they're like, okay, can you go in the room? And the doctor will be in to talk to you in a little bit. Now, in the appointments before, I would just get the ultrasound and they would let me go home. They would be like, okay, you got your ultrasound, looks fine. Let's schedule you your next appointment and we'll see you next time. We'll see you next week. Well, this time they told me, they said, okay, well, can you go wait in one of the rooms and the doctor will be in to see you in a minute. So right then and there, I knew. I was like, okay, something isn't right, because before I was leaving, but now I have to stay. So then I tried to think happy thoughts, like, okay, well, maybe it's because I haven't seen the doctor in a while and they just want to talk to me and, like, just share, like, oh, that she's doing good or something, or just talk to me, because, like I said, I hadn't seen the doctor since my first appointment. So I go in the room and I'm sitting there and I'm just worried, of course. Like, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm very dramatic. I'm very emotional. So you can tell by saying that what's going to come next. So the doctor comes in and she's like, hi, how are you doing? The usual greetings. She's like, would you like your child's father to be on the phone while we talk about this? And right then and there, my heart kind of dropped, because that's when I knew something was wrong. That this was not a regular appointment. This is not, she just wanted to talk to me. This is serious. So Gerard at the time was working at Sprint T-Mobile and he was getting ready for work. And so I was like, yeah. So I called him and I'm like, hey, like, the doctor wants to talk to us. Like, I don't know. I couldn't tell him much because I didn't know what was going on. So she goes on and she's like, yeah, we seen something with the blood flow from the placenta, from the umbilical cord to the placenta. She said, well, blood flows like how, like, water flows out of a faucet, like, straight down. Like, you don't want water going back up in your faucet and then you can't get nothing out of it. You want it to go straight down. And she's like, well, Raina's blood is not doing that. It's going down, but then some of it is going back up. And so I'm just like that was probably my face, because I was just like, I was blown away. Like, I'm like, okay, like, and then Gerard's just on the phone listening. And so then she started telling me, like, the different types. Like, okay, well, yours isn't that bad. You got the good one where blood is just flowing normally. And then you have yours, which is the in-between, where it's coming down, but then it's a little bit is going back up, but it's still coming down. And then you have the kind that's coming down, but then going back up. So it's not coming all the way down, but it's coming down a little bit, but then it's going back up. So that kind of is like, basically that's like super bad, and we would have to get her out right now. So I'm like, like I said, like I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, like what is going on? What's wrong with my baby and stuff like that. So she proceeds, she's like, you're going to need to get admitted to the hospital. And we don't know how long you'll be in there. You could be in there until you give birth, or you could be in there until your due date, until you give birth, meaning when we need to get her out. Or if you make it to your due date, then you could be in there until your due date. Mind you, guys, this was December 7th, and my due date was March 17th. So you can imagine that I was like blown away. Like I was blown away. And so I'm trying to stay strong just because she's in there, but I just wanted to break down and cry. Because what is going on with my baby? Like this, like I was having the perfect pregnancy, and now this. So she sees it all in my face, and she's like, just don't worry about checking out of here. I'll have the nurse check you out, and we will call Kettering and tell them you're on your way, and you just go get some stuff, and then you get yourself admitted into Kettering. And that was a tough pill to swallow. It was hard. It was hard because it was like I felt like I did something wrong or something. Like I was crushed. Like guys, I was crushed. And mind you, I was at this doctor's appointment by myself. Even though Gerard was on the phone, I was there by myself. So I had to drive myself. So I got in the car and I just bawled because it was like why me? Like why my baby? And everything like that. And so I get off the phone with Gerard, and Gerard is like already like getting in the car, like on his way to come to the appointment, because he knows that I'm a wreck, and I'm gonna need something, like I'm gonna need comfort before I'm able to drive back to our apartment. So I call my mom, and I'm just crying, and she's like, Ashley, I can't understand you gotta calm down so that I can know what's going on. And I'm just bawling, just crying, and I tell her what's going on, and everybody's just kind of like in shock, like we don't know what this means. We don't really know what's going on all the way. Like we know what the doctor said, but we're just kind of all in shock. So so Gerard got there, and then I got myself okay enough to drive home. Luckily, we didn't live too far from this doctor's office. So I got myself okay to drive home, and I just remember standing in the middle of the living room with Gerard, and he's just hugging me, and I'm just crying because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm only 25 weeks pregnant at this point, and I don't know what's going to happen. So I remember just standing there like God, I can't come home without a baby. Sorry guys. And so I said goodbye to Lizzie because I could be in the hospital for all these months, and I'm like, okay. And so I started like getting a little bit of stuff in a bag, and Gerard's like, don't worry about getting everything. I'll come back and I'll get you whatever you need. Let's just take what we can now and get you to the hospital. So guys, I literally had probably like 30 minutes, and I just got everything, and then we went straight to the hospital. And so then we got to the hospital, and I got checked in and got admitted to the hospital. They did a COVID test and all that other stuff. And the whole time I'm just crying because I don't know, like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm really about to be in this hospital, just like in the hospital, just on monitoring and everything like that. So, but yeah, so that was part 2, guys. Sorry about that, but that was part 2. And then in the next part, we'll be talking about my hospital stay and all that stuff. And yeah, and so we'll be talking about all that, and we might even get into a little bit of NICU stay. So I hope you guys enjoyed part 2. Part 2 got a little emotional, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm so excited to just continue to bring this content to you. And yeah, so don't forget to like and share and subscribe, comment, whatever. I just hope you, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back for part 3 later. Bye.